Hello, everybody. This is Angela, Nurse Practitioner with RealGLPs and Wellness. It is good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So my name is Angela. I am a nurse practitioner. I actually have a clinic in Medina, Ohio. What we do in my clinic is we are starting a new thing. It's called RealGLPs. So I am actually on these with you guys. And what I will do is I go over everything with you. I live with you on this journey. I am here for you. I do everything that I say. I actually try everything first before I tell you and give you any information. So we are here with you on this journey, and we experience it with you as well. So I don't just tell you, hey, you need to try this or you need to do that. I actually have given myself the experience before I give that to you. So I am a nurse practitioner, and I do have a clinic in Medina, Ohio. So what I am going to do right now is I'm just going to give you the free consultation, and then you guys can ask questions. Okay, so here we go. We have a question. What can I do for a plateau? Great question. So let me start out with that free consultation, because it kind of goes into the plateau as well. Because when you hit that plateau, look at what you are taking in. A lot of people, especially, we see this every summer. People say, oh, I'm not having any L. Then what you need to do is you need to look at, typically when the summer rolls around, we aren't getting enough calories. Why? Because we're getting more active. So when we tend to get more active, we're not taking in enough. So we're doing the same old thing that we've been doing all winter. And what happens is when the summer comes, we get more active. We need to take in a little bit more sometimes. So you need to make sure you're getting your protein. Women need 100 grams a day to 120 grams a day. Guys need at least 120 to 150. So 75% of what you take in should be protein. Then the other part of what you're taking in should be complex carbs. Complex carbs are naturally from the earth. I tend to keep everything extremely simple, because if it's simple, we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it, because if I start making things difficult, if I start making things more complex, then people aren't going to do it. So I keep everything extremely simple. That is why I think people are more successful on my program. So, and I just believe in that. Because when I start counting macros, when I start telling you, okay, you need to do this and that and everything. So stay away from the simple carbs. So anything processed to be white, don't do it. That is going to actually make you sick. It's going to give you indigestion. It's going to give you belching. It's going to give you nausea. It's going to sit in your stomach for long periods of time. It's going to give you the sulfur burps. Fried fatty foods are also going to make you sick. So you want to stay away from those as well. So what you really want to try to do is concentrate on your proteins, and you want to try to concentrate on complex carbs. So 75% of what you eat is a protein. Proteins are your meats, your fish, your chicken, your pork. But you want your lean proteins, but you do need to get some healthy fats in there as well. But I am not a fan of keto, never have been. Because when people go into ketoacidosis, I've actually seen damage to the kidneys. I actually did it to myself. I increased my creatinine and decreased my GFR. So I actually caused a little bit of kidney damage, but I was able to reverse it. Plus, we are made to eat vegetables and protein, and that is what is really important, is that we have a well-balanced nutrition. We're not made to just eat one food group. We are actually made to eat from all food groups. So it's really important that we do that. So that is why I recommend this. So the reactive hypoglycemia can happen with all of them, not just compound versus name brand. It can happen with all of them. So what happens is all of these GLPs, they are going in and correcting insulin resistance. So what happens when we eat? We have the blood sugar that shoots up. So if you're eating the wrong types of foods, which typically, anytime you put anything in your mouth, you need to have protein. So what happens is if you have say you have a meal of just complex carbs, or you have a meal of simple carbs, what you're doing is you're shooting up your blood sugar. When you are taking these medications, these GLPs, or say you have diabetes, what is happening is your body is not able to balance out that blood sugar. So you are having an imbalance of your insulin and your blood sugar. So what happens is that insulin goes in and it grabs that simple carb or that complex carbs and it drops your blood sugar, causing hypoglycemia. So that's where the protein is extremely important. If you're a diabetic, if you are a non-diabetic, but what happens is, I am not a diabetic, but on these medications, what can happen is you can drop your blood sugar if you don't have that protein. The protein balances out your insulin. So non-diabetic, diabetic, anybody. But when you're on these GLPs, you have to have that protein. So anytime you take anything in, you need the protein. Protein is the insulin balancer. So what happens is that protein and the insulin can't drop your blood sugar with the protein. So you're going to eat the protein and then it balances out that insulin and it's going to come down much slower. So that's what's really important with all of these GLPs. Let me try to go this way. Oops, sorry. So what is happening and what is really important is that you get your protein. Now, you need your protein either in a shake or water. The protein waters are really good, or protein food. So it's really important to make sure that you're getting that protein. So the hypoglycemia is not happening because of the compound versus name brand. It can happen with either. So it is really important. I remember when I was heavier and not diabetic, that I actually ate very poorly. I had a sweet tea. I had 2 waffles with syrup on them. And then I went in and I saw a patient. I did a home care visit and I came out. I dropped my blood sugar down to 20. So I was very dizzy. I was very confused, and I had a blood sugar checker. I checked my blood sugar and I was at 20. That was very dangerous, but I did it to myself. I didn't have any protein. So when you are on these medications, it's extremely important that you're getting that protein. That is what caused that hypoglycemia. So it is not compound versus name brand. It is how you're eating. So you need to make sure that you are taking in that protein. So that is what is extremely important, is making sure that you are getting that protein. All of these medications, it doesn't matter, and I can't say the names of them because I can get in trouble, but W, O is S, okay? So S is the generic or the compound version. W and O are the name brand versions. And then you have your T, which is the generic version, and then MJ and, just forgot it. Oh, good morning to me. I just started my caffeine. But so all of them are wonderful. I've been on the compound version of S and T both twice because like I said, I like to try everything out before I recommend it to you guys, because I feel that it's extremely important for me to make sure that I've tried them before I give them to you, because I don't want to recommend something to you unless I have tried them myself or somebody in my family has tried them. Veronica is on here. She is actually my office manager as well, and she's my medical assistant, and she is our guinea pig as well. So we have tried everything that we've recommended. Talk about constipation and bloating because they really do go hand in hand. So it is extremely important that you move your bowels absolutely every day. Extremely important. So what I highly recommend is that you are doing one thing. Well, actually, there's a few things. First of all, fiber. I highly recommend Metamucil gummies. I take them every day. Now, don't start out 3 a day every day. So the recommended grams of fiber a day is 24 to 30 a day. So what you want to do is you start out with fiber 1 a day for a couple days, then 2 a day for a couple days, and then 3 a day every day. Because if you start out 3 every day right away, it's going to cause gas and bloating. So you don't want to do that. So then you start your fiber. The other thing that I highly recommend, and I'll show these at the end, I don't want to do that now because if I start putting up products, I can't put up or talk about multiple products. So I'll show them at the end of this, and I'm going to do this for an hour and a half. So at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll show all the products so you can see them, but they are in my shop. So if you want to go to my shop, you can see everything. The next thing that I recommend is the Magnesium 14-in-1 by VEV, V-E-V. So it is in my shop, and you take it at bedtime. Do not take it in the morning because it can make you groggy. So you want to take it at bedtime. So it is absolutely a must for anybody that has any bowel issues. Now, I did just get another product that I have been trying, and I actually like it. So I have two digestive enzymes in my shop. One is Nature Made, and then the other one is ZenWise. I just started trying the Nature Made, and I've tried it for 2 days now, and I really do like it. It's actually a chewable, and it really helps with the bloating, and it helps with the gas. It helps with just your stomach just being kind of like So I really do like it. So it's a little chewable, and it almost works immediately. So check out the Nature Made. The other one is ZenWise, and ZenWise they just changed their packaging, and I really do like the ZenWise as well. I've been highly recommending that one for almost 2 years now. So ZenWise is a really good one also for the digestive enzymes, because if you're getting the bloating, what's happening is that food is sitting in your stomach. So I really do recommend digestive enzymes. But what's cool about ZenWise is it does have that pre and probiotic in it as well. So then also for the ladies, there's one that I really like, Leefar, Leefar. And it's in a pink bottle, but it also has some desert, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the V word, the equator area support as well, which really works nice. It gives you some of the moisture and it really works well. But it has the pre and probiotics, and it's a gummy. I love gummies. Bev is a gummy, but the magnesium and the fiber are really, really important if you just want those. But the other thing that you need to do if you're really having a lot of constipation is Miralax every single day. Miralax is non-bowel addicting, it's non-cramping, and it doesn't cause you to have like that, oh my God, I gotta go right now. But if you aren't going, you need to take the Miralax, okay? So it's really important that you move those bowels every single day. I'm starting a new concept, and we're working on the website. We're working on this new concept, but it's called RealGLP. We are real. I am a real nurse practitioner. I live this life with you guys. I am in this with you. Veronica and I are real. If you call, you're getting a real consult. You're getting a real person. You have access to us real time. We are real GLP. So what we're doing is everything that you need. There's no contracts. There's no membership fees. You get us. We are available in all 50 states. It is real. Okay, so what we're doing is you are getting us. So please follow me. I had a page that was up to almost 49,000 followers, and I got in trouble and I lost all social media. So I'm rebuilding everything. So please follow me. Somebody said I heard Z was better. I've been on both twice, and I don't think either is better than the other. Now, Z is newer. T is newer, okay? I only do compound. I love compound. I think compound's fantastic. But T is newer. So anytime the newer one comes on the street, it's like, oh, this one's better because it has one molecule different. Now, the majority of people in my practice are on S. So I feel that it's less expensive, it's been out longer, and we are really, really good at controlling the side effects. So with it being less expensive and it's, we have really, really good results with it. I mean, we have people that have done great and they've, lost a lot on it. So I say, try S first. Then if you need to, we'll switch to T at some point, but it's less expensive. And why not do what's, if you have great results and you can do well on it, just stay on S. And then if we need to, we can switch you to T. The reason that people think T is better is because the makers of it are doing very, very well at the marketing. And they spend a lot more money on it, telling you that it is better. So I really don't think that it's that important. Stay on the low dose forever? Absolutely. I tell people, and in my practice, we do not increase your dose if you're doing great at the low dose. You do not need to increase that dose if you're doing great at that lower dose. The only reason you go up is if you're having hunger and cravings. But if you're having hunger and cravings, make sure you're getting your protein. Make sure your protein levels are up where they're supposed to be. Women, 100 grams a day at minimum. So it should be 100 to 120 for women and 120 to 150 at a minimum for guys. If you're not there and you're not hydrating enough and you're not getting your electrolytes, get that corrected before you increase your dose. Because often, if you're not getting that protein and that hydration, that is going to make you feel like you are hungry and you're craving. So if you correct your protein and your hydration, and then that might get rid of those hunger and cravings, then you can increase your dose. Oftentimes, when you increase that dose, you're going to increase your side effects. So that is why we say stay at that lower dose longer if you need to. You know what? A lot of us do go to the gym. A lot of us do have great, but you need to go look at my post about the haters because just going to the gym doesn't fix it, doesn't always fix the issue. Insulin resistance is a huge problem. Menopause is a huge problem that causes a lot of issues. So that is why it is so important that these are finally changing and correcting a lot of issues. That is why these medications have made such a difference in a lot of people's lives. Just going to the gym is not the answer because I've done that. Don't you think I've done that? I have been a yo-yoer for my whole adult life. I've done the starvation. I've done the low calorie. I've done everything. I was in the military. So I understand what is the right way. I understand what I'm supposed to do. But when you hit that certain age of about 35 is when I went into menopause or premenopause, just going to the gym doesn't work anymore. Just eating that 1,200 calories and just eating, what you're supposed to do, that doesn't work anymore. That's when you need assistance. I did even the 500 calorie and I did the HCG. I did, all of these things that I'm supposed to do and it didn't work. That's when something like this is amazing. And, there's PCOS, there's so many things out there. Oh my gosh, the people are going to the drastic measures of having gastric bypass. People are, all of these things that are drastic. And this could be a way to fix it and actually changes the mind. It gets rid of the insulin resistance, shrinks the stomach. It actually really does do amazing things. It's a really great thing. Yes, I am a compound provider. I'm working on getting some of the insurances so that I can go back to doing the insurance stuff as well. Because the insurance doesn't like to pay for this. It really doesn't. The name of the chewable is Nature Made, everybody. Hang on one second. I can grab it here. The chewable is Nature Made. So this is it here, right here. It's a digestive enzyme. So this, I really do like this. I've actually tried it for 2 days now, and it really does work well. Miralax and Metamucil every day work very, very well if you're having any digestive issues. The other one, I can grab it too. I take it every night. Sorry, I should have had these over here already. This is Vev, the magnesium 14-in-1. So if you are having the nasty sulfur burps, you need the digestive enzymes, everybody. They're very, very important. So I offer S and T, and they are extremely, very, very effective. So I don't do the name brand at this point. So I don't have that. I can write the prescriptions if you want. I'm working out a way to do that. So I'm working on getting my insurances reinstated, especially for like Medicare. And so I am not a fan of R at this point because R is not FDA regulated. And when you are getting it, you're getting it from out of the country. You have no way of knowing what you're getting. So if you're not having any L, it might be because you aren't getting a good product. So I would just be careful with that if you're getting R. If you ever have a stall or you feel like you are stuck, oftentimes DM me and we do a free consultation. Seriously, you can call and talk to my team and we are more than happy to just help you and walk you through it and help you figure out what's going on. You will start having L again. Oftentimes, what you have to do, stay the course. But you may have to change up your calories. You may have to change up your protein. You may have to add in, some sort of different activities. You never want less than 1,200 calories. Nobody should ever be less than 1,200 calories. You want to be at women about 1,300 to 1,400 and guys 1,600 to 1,800. Now, if you really want to know specifically where you should be, get a scale that tells you how much muscle you have, what your BMR is, or go to a gym that gives you that information, or a nutritionist, or, we have a cool scale that's called a Tanita, and that Tanita gives you that information. Your muscle, for every pound of muscle, that's a gram of protein. For your BMR, you subtract 200 to 300, and that tells you where your calorie count should be. So that is how you find out that information. But I give a general because I've looked at thousands of BMRs, and on an average, that's what the numbers are. Women 1,300 to 1,400, guys 1,600 to 1,800. It changes. It can vary person to person, but on average, that's what I see. So that's what I've seen. I am not a fan of split dosing. I'm just not. I've never been. So I don't recommend it. There's only certain cases of it that I recommend it, but I am not a huge fan of split dosing. It's just really don't see that it works that well. This has 10 magnesiums in it. So somebody said magnesium oxide works really well. I just say, if you could take 10 magnesiums, why take one? Because some people say, well, magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide, or I'll hear Mag-O7, but this has 10 and it's in a gummy and they actually taste really, really good. And you take it at bedtime. Plus it has L-theanine, ashwagandha, zinc, which is good for your immunity. So this is really, really good. And you take it at bedtime. It helps you sleep. It helps with muscle cramps. It's really good. I mean, and it helps with your bowels. So somebody said they had Cheerios and bananas yesterday and the sulfur was nasty. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Cheerios and I don't recommend bananas unless you're doing like a major workout and or running a marathon or something like that. Bananas are extremely high glycemic and Cheerios are high glycemic. Unless you're doing like the protein Cheerios, I would really stay away from those. But what you need is a digestive enzyme. I like this one. It's a chewable. So it tastes really good and it's really small. So it actually really does work. I've 2 days I tried it and I really do like it. And I only take it when my stomach is feeling bad. It says take 1 before you eat, but I don't need it that much. So yeah, if you get the nasty burps or you feel like the food is sitting in your stomach or something like that, you can give those a try. And they're in my shop, so you're more than welcome. So the chewable is digestive enzymes, nature made, and it's in my shop. So you go check that out. I had a couple episodes. I woke up bloated. Bloating, you need the digestive enzymes. Also, make sure you're moving your bowels every single day. We are really good at getting your side effects under control. You should not have a lot of side effects on these. You really shouldn't. I have a text post that I put up and I said side effects are not normal. Oh my gosh, people were having a fit on this because everybody thinks that you should have side effects. You should not have side effects. If your provider is teaching you and monitoring you and available to you, you should not have a lot of side effects on these because you need to be educated. That is why we are real people. So I was actually looking at my competition yesterday and there's no phone numbers. You can't get a hold of your providers. And that's just crazy to me. So if you have L fast, somebody says, do GLPs make your skin sag? If you lose quickly, yes, you can. I have lost 104. And not a problem. You can see my face. Now, I have had this done. I've had 2 tummies. And, so I have had to have stuff done, but it's because of, in the beginning, I did have a quick L, but what I do now is in my shake, I make sure that I have collagen. I'm really good at helping people make sure, but when you have, there's people out there that are doing it very quickly, that can cause a problem. So you need to be very, very careful. But when you have like what I did, such a significant L, then yes, there are times that you're going to have things done. But my face, I've not had anything done. So, I almost did, but I was able to do some creams and things like that to make sure that I didn't. Plus, I take my collagen every single day. So you want to make sure that you're doing your collagen. Hair loss is preventable. Now, you have to make sure you're doing collagen, make sure your protein is up. You have to protein is essential. And the thing is, people worry about the hair because we can see it, but you really need to worry about the muscle because we don't see the muscle. And if you're not making sure that you're getting that protein, you're going to lose your muscle and you're going to lose your hair. So muscle is extremely important. And what's nice with the collagen, a lot of collagens have the protein in them as well. I like marine collagen. So I have a good collagen if you want to DM me. But what you need to make sure is your collagen has MSM in it, also omega in it, because that's going to help with your muscle and your hair as well. So you want to make sure that you have that on there, have that in there as well. You should have hunger. Hunger is important. If you aren't hungry at all, your dose is too high. And we recommend that you do have some hunger, because if you're not hungry and you're not eating, that's not good. You have to get your nutrition. You have to get your calories. It is extremely important that you are getting those things. So if you're not, then the dose is usually too high. So we do recommend that you do have that hunger and you do have. Now, you don't want the cravings. We don't want the hunger completely gone, but I was obsessed. So the obsession is gone. That is what we want gone. We want you to have normal thought processes. And that's what I have now, which is great. I'm not having all of that crazy obsession anymore. So that is what we teach. We teach that we want you to be happy, healthy. We want you to have a normal life. But we teach lifestyle. We don't teach the D word. We teach lifestyle. So yes, Dasha, would you recommend it to anyone under 21? We actually do have some. So I'm an adult nurse practitioner, so I don't take care of anybody under the age of 12. Now, if I have anybody under the age of 16, I'm going to recommend that they're seeing a therapist because I am not comfortable with that. And then I do actually tailor each program to each individual person. And I do have a 16-year-old that I'm actually taking care of right now. I've put in, she's not allowed to look at a scale. I don't want her getting on a scale at home. And we don't let her look at the scale in the office. And she actually isn't having a lot of L, but what's cool is she's transferring muscle for F. And that is why I told her I don't want her getting on the scale at home. Because when you get on the scale at home, you only see that one number. When you get on the scale in my office, I'm looking at a bunch of numbers. So I'm able to actually help her understand that you're not just looking at that one number. Because when you're looking at that one number, it's frustrating, it's irritating, it's aggravating. And then for women, it's extremely bad because we have our cycles. And when we have our cycles, what happens? We gain water. So when you have that water weight gain, then you're sitting there and you're aggravated because now you're like, what in the world? And that for especially a teenage girl, you're seeing all this fluctuation. So I tell her not to look at the scale because she's going to get frustrated, aggravated, depressed, and sad. And so she's not allowed. And she doesn't. And so she comes in and I do it for her. Chicken, apples, and meat sticks are a great way for me. Watch meat sticks. Meat sticks have a lot of sodium. So they're good if you can get a lower sodium version. And they are out there. But you have to be careful with the meat sticks because the sodium is going to make you retain the fluid. So you need to be careful with that. So that's why I don't like the meat sticks. I started with O, then switched to MJ. So I've done both twice. And yes, you can switch. If you switch, make sure you go back to the lowest dose. They are not equal. So anytime you switch, you have to make sure you go back to the lowest dose. The pill. We have the pill, so you have name brand and you have compound. I like the compound better because it has naltrexone in it. What naltrexone does for the pill is actually makes it a little bit more effective because you have the stomach that destroys a lot of times when you put stuff in it. So the first 3 months of the pill, when you're titrating up the dose, it's not as effective and you're not going to have a lot of L. So you have to be patient with it. Make sure that you're changing your lifestyle. You're getting your protein, you're getting your complex carbs, you're cutting out your simple carbs, you're starting to cut down your calories, and you're getting that 13 to 1400 for women, 16 to 1800 for guys, and you're really starting to make the changes in your lifestyle. Because what's going to happen is once you're doing that, you are going to start, making those lifestyle changes. And then once you get to the higher dose, then you're going to start to notice an improvement. You still have similar side effects. You need to make sure your bowels are moving every day. You need to make sure that you are having good, doing the things that you need to do. What I'm telling people is you won't have that overly obsessed hunger feeling. You won't be always. There's a difference. So when I first started, actually, let me, I'm trying to think about how to put this into words. So when I was heavy, it was an obsession. And low 3, I'm guessing you might not have an issue with W or being over W. But what happens is when you have extreme issues with being over, I can't say the word because I'll get in trouble, but I was 260 at one point in my life. And to get to that point, you have an issue, okay? And you can't easily lose it. It becomes an obsession. When I woke up in the morning, all I could think about was, okay, breakfast. At breakfast, I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, All right, what's for lunch? What time is lunch? Oh, I have a meeting at lunch. So I better eat before I have that meeting, because I'm going to have my meeting. I'm going to miss lunch. And then, so I'm going to eat then, and then I'm going to have my meeting. I'm probably going to be hungry after the meeting, so I'll have lunch again. Then, what's going to be for dinner? So I better make sure that I get something out for dinner. I'll probably, okay, yeah, I better, think about that. Okay, then, okay, what's dinner for tomorrow? So it was always thinking about food. Food. What this does is it has caused me to not obsess about food. I now feel like a normal human being. So it's equivalent to somebody that has any other kind of addiction. And this has been proven. They're actually using this for alcoholism. They're using it for other addictions and smoking. And they're helping people get off of those things. But the thing is, you can avoid other things that you might be addicted to, but we have to eat. So what happens is there's no longer this obsession. And yes, we still have hunger. We still need to eat. We still want that food, but we aren't obsessed about it anymore. So if people aren't having the ability to eat, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. That's when they need to decrease the dose. That is when we need to actually make changes. What if you can't eat because you're nauseous? Decrease your dose. You have to decrease your dose. Digestive enzymes. Make sure you're moving your bowels every day. Talk to your provider. You could DM me if you can't get a hold of your provider, but you need to make sure that you are able to eat. You have to get nutrition in, but the digestive enzymes are really good for it. So you want to make sure that you are eating. So if you can't eat because you're nauseous, decrease the dose, get a hold of your provider, get some Zofran. Digestive enzymes really help with that. Probiotics can help with that. How much is 2 in a syringe? Every program has different dosing. So in order to know that, I would have to know how much your milligrams per ml are. I can't just tell you that. The food chatter definitely goes away, 100%. And that is what one of the most amazing things is when that food chatter goes away. Oh my gosh, it's life-changing. It is 100% life-changing. I'm the one on tea, was making anxious. Tea is known for that. It is. I was watching the commercial one day, and it runs across the bottom saying that it's known for that. You could try S, and it might not cause it. It might not cause it. Seriously. I love all GLPs. I think they're all phenomenal. I think starting with S is a great idea because it's less expensive. Then we can always switch you to tea if we need to. How much water should you get? So I tell people 64 to 80 ounces a day because that's typically what's recommended. But what I would suggest is about 64 to 80 ounces. I've heard other people say 10% of your body weight. That's a lot. But 64 to 80 ounces is the usual general. Make sure you get electrolytes. Do not drink IV hydration. They are too salty. Do not drink anything over like 250, 260 of sodium because it will make you retain, which is going to keep you from L'ing. Okay, so do not do that. So what I recommend is I like the Propel. There's 10X. There's Ultima. There's so many different ones out there, but you want to make sure that you're getting your electrolytes as well because electrolytes are essential in helping you L, but they also are going to keep you hydrated. Now, this is from actual research that I've seen in my clinic. So the scale that I have, the Tanita scale that I have, actually has hydration versus retention. So we see people retaining, and that usually what's super cool about when you start these medications, we see people drop fluid retention because they're cardioprotective. So what happens is they make you drop that fluid retention. They also will help you be able to I'm sorry, no, they don't. They don't help you get hydration, but they will help you get rid of the fluid retention. But you need to make sure you're drinking. But if people aren't getting the electrolytes, they don't get hydrated. And I've seen this. So once I started telling people you need to get the electrolytes, then I've actually seen the hydration improve. So I've really seen a good improvement in that. We actually do have, I can take care of all 50 states. So if you need a provider in Kentucky, I could actually take care of you. I do have quite a few people that I take care of in Kentucky. So that is not a problem for us. We can definitely help you in Kentucky, Peach. So just reach out to us. We talk about the pill versus the injection. I personally love the injection better. It's going to be more effective. It works better. But the pill, if you don't like the idea of the jab, then it's great. I have one of my daughters on it, and she is still on the first 3 months of the pill, and she has had the nausea. She's had some of the other issue, some of the constipation, but we have a lot of bowel issues anyways. And so the bowel issues is a thing with us because we have IBS. And so she's getting some of that. So the side effects are the same with both, versus the pill and the jab. So that's not any different. The L is slower with the pill versus the jab. So we are seeing a lot of, that's very, very similar. The side effects are similar. The L is slower. So you have to be patient with the pill. Don't expect this, huge L. You have to, titrate up. It takes 3 months for that titrate. So that's where the big difference is with that is you see that. Thyroid, I've been on Z for 8 weeks, 5 milligram, haven't L'd. Working out, water, and calorie deficit. Okay, hypothyroid, this works really well with it. You shouldn't have really any major issues. The calorie deficit should not be less than 1,200. Regardless if you have hypothyroidism or not, you should be at 1,300 to 1,400 calories. Do not go below 1,200. Never anybody should be below 1,200 calories, okay? Stay at 1,300 to 1,400. Your water needs to be 64 to 80 ounces. You need to do 2 electrolytes a day. I like the packets of Propel. That's my favorite. I like the taste of it. It doesn't have any artificial flavor to it. It's my favorite. Also, you need to make sure you're getting your protein. Women, 100 to 120 grams a day. Guys, 120 to 150. Just because you have hypothyroidism doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any L. And my question is, are you managed? How, are your numbers within range? My goal when I have patients with hypothyroidism is I want you to be your TSH at 1.50 and your free T3 to be at 4 to 4.3. That's really important. And then, are you on iodine? Iodine with selenium and zinc. Talk to your provider because iodine with selenium and zinc is really, really important because if you're not optimized, then that could be an issue. Is it normal for mental health meds to slow down and stall yes. So you have to think about any medication that you're on. These slow down your digestion from the top to the bottom. So if you're on any medication, it can be affected. So if you're on something that once a day dosing, that should be fine, because it's got time to digest throughout the day. But if you're on something that's like a twice a day, or if your blood levels have to be checked, you definitely need to let your medical providers know, your mental health providers know, hey, I'm on these GLPs and I'm not feeling right, or if you notice that your mental health is changing, you need to let them know. T is known. It is known, let me repeat that. It is known for causing anxiety. It is known for causing mental health changes. So if you're on T and you notice changes in your mental health, you need to talk to your provider. So important because it does cause that. So you need to make sure you're reaching out to your provider, your mental health provider, anybody, if you're having any mental health issues. Okay, if you're getting a large welt or you're getting any kind of skin reaction to any of these, you need to talk to your provider. But what likely is happening is you're getting it because of what it's mixed with. Okay, if it's name brand, it could be the preservatives that are in it. If it's compounded, it's because of the B12 or the B6 or, the glycine or whatever else it's mixed with. Okay. So the other thing is, it could be the alcohol. So if you're cleaning your skin, we have found that it could be the alcohol pads. So what I recommend is not use the alcohol pads. Just use, you can use soap and water or don't use anything at all. Because, oh, sorry about that bright sun there. Looked like my name is Angela. I guess I looked like an angel there for a minute. Just kidding. So don't use the alcohol pads because oftentimes that alcohol pad can cause irritation as well. So women should lose 1 to 3 a week if your BMI is above 30. Guys should lose 3 to 5 a week if their BMI is above 30. Once you get into that BMI of 24.9 to 29, it's going to go to 1 to 3 a month for women and 3 to 5 a week for guys. Then if you drop below that 24.9, it gets practically impossible. So and then that's when, that stall happens too. A lot of times is when you get to that different BMI or, if a lot of times when you go on these, you have a significant drop. When you have that significant drop, often you will have that stall. What happens when you hit that stall is you just have to stay the course. Stay the course. Trust the process because your body just needs to adjust. Once your body adjusts, then you're going to be fine. But you have to give your body time to adjust. You keep your calories. But you have to kind of look at things to see, okay, what's going on? Am I doing what I need to do? Do I need to add in some extra exercise? Do I need to change up my calories? Am I eating too few? Am I eating too much? Am I getting my protein? Am I getting the right protein? Am I, getting my vitamins? Am I moving my bowels every day? I can't tell you how often people will say, oh, no, I don't move my bowels every day. I only move my bowels every 3 days. When you don't move your bowels every day, you will gain weight. You'll feel bloated. And what you're gaining though, and what you're holding on to is fluid. So oftentimes, because what your body's doing is when you're not moving your bowels every day, it's pulling fluid into your gut and into your intestines, and it's making you retain fluid. So you might even gain because you're retaining fluid. So, that's why it is really important that you are watching that. Day 1 through 5, I feel great. And then 6, 7, I'm hungry and craving. That's normal. That is very typical, very normal, and it happens all the time. So what we tell people is when you get to that 6, 7, increase your protein, increase your water. You have to learn to manage your own hunger and cravings. If your protein and your hydration are up, you still need to be able to have periods of your life that you're hungry and you're craving. You need to be able to learn to handle that. So my shot was due yesterday, but I used to inject on Tuesdays, but I was on vacation this last 2 weeks. So before I left, I had forgot to order it. And then my day went from Tuesday to Thursday. And then so I was all confused. And then I didn't want to give it last night because it has B6 in it, which is going to give me energy, and it's here at home. So I gave it this morning. So yesterday I was hungry. So I had to keep telling myself, drink more water, drink more protein, because I was just more hungry. So you have to just make sure that you're telling yourself it's okay to be hungry. It's okay to have cravings, but I'm going to control it because I'm in control of my life, and I am going to drink more protein. I'm going to drink more water. I got this. I can handle this. So it's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to feel that way. So you just need to make sure. Because when you're on tea, oftentimes with tea, the first 2 doses, maybe even the first 3 doses, you're not really going to notice anything because you just have to kind of titrate up on tea. But then when you get to that 3rd, 4th dose, sometimes 5th dose, then you'll feel it. How long can you stay on these? Forever. There actually was just new research released that the second that you stop, almost the second you stop these, the cardio benefits that you have while you're on them stop. So they have really been showing that there's some amazing benefits. There's cancer benefits, livers, kidney. There's just so many benefits from them that actually once you get the side effects and stuff under control, you could be on these forever. There's not really any reason why not to be on them. And the low dose is perfect and it does great results for people. Decrease the dose, because if your dose is too high and you're not eating and you're not hungry, you need to decrease the dose. Drink your calories, drink your protein. So what you need to do is make sure that your dose is at the lowest dose possible, and make sure that you are talking to your provider and you are getting what you need. If you aren't crazy about water, drinking carbonated water is fine. Flavor your water. Put stuff in it to drink it. Get the protein water.